Good morning from Matchbook HQ, and it's Cheltenham Day 2, and we are looking for some of the best bets possible today. And with me to help us in that venture is from the Daily Mirror, Steve Jones. Steve Jones, how did you get on yesterday, mate? Any few winners?
Enjoyed it, but the punting wasn't all that fantastic. I really fancy Disco-Rama. I put him up as my best bet of the week, and although he ran well in third, of course I backed him to win. And having also backed Global Citizen each way, who looked nailed on for third until done right on the line. So things can only get better.
They can only get better. Micheál, Deasy, how was it for you yesterday, mate?
Not too bad, I suppose. Landed a nice bet on Epitant. She was a max bet for me. I was very happy to see how she won. Bit disappointed with Benny Deju. Probably wrong going with the shorty there. Bit of place money then for a few other races. So we're 21 races to go, and we still have most of the bank left, thank God.
Good man. Give me some market movers overnight. Have we got any?
Yeah, there's been a few, not massive overnight. I suppose one of the big ones in the RSA is Alaho is now, after going into joint second favouritism with us, he's gone from 7.4 into 5.0. Good bit of money for him. He's the only horse really been backed in that. In the Coral Cup, there has been a mountain of money for Dan the company since the markets went up yesterday. I think she was about 10.0, 9.0 yesterday. Now she's at 5.8. Another big market mover on that is Champagne Well. 26.0 yesterday and is now into 16.5. There's been a bit of money for a few horses in that as well. A bit of those days are gone, and Franco the Port as well, two Irish horses. The Champion Chase and the Cross Country Trace are fairly static. A small bit of move for Shackleton Poursois this morning, in from 2.64 into 2.52. There's been a few big punts in the Boodles. Blacko is now the favourite after being about, I think, 5th or 6th in this yesterday. He was about 12.0. He's into 7.0 now. A lot of money for Palladium as well. Palladium has gone from 11.5 into 7.8. And Tronador as well is after going to third favourite, about 10.5. The bumper, nothing much happening in the bumper just yet. Yeah, that's it.
All right, let's get to it, guys. Let's get stuck in straight away into the Ballymore day 2. Jonesy, talk to me first about it. Actually, do you know what, Jones, before I go there, DC, give us some betting. That's always the most important part of this.
Yeah, so Enviolin is the clear favourite at 1.724. Then you have Sporting John is 5.3. The Big Breakaway is 12.0. The Big Getaway is 17.0. Then you have Easy Work at 21.0. Longhouse Board is 30.0. And then triple digit odds for the rest of it.
Jonesy, Festival Banker for Manny, Envoy Allen. Backer or layer here?
A backer, certainly not a layer, but I'm not surprised that Envoy Allen's gone this sort of price, 1.7, because after what happened in the Supreme yesterday, it just makes Envoy Allen look an even bigger certainty. It was most people's banker, or a lot of people's banker, pre-festival, but now the money surely is flooded on this because of what happened in the Supreme. Because, of course, Abracababra was second last yesterday, and also Elixir Dene was running really well when knocked over at the second last, and Envoy Allen kicked both of them out of the way. So it's stacked right up. And when you consider that, I think, what is it, Dee's 5th or 6th in is Longhouse Poet, who was beaten a country mile by Envoy Allen last time at Nace. It just looks Envoy Allen's race, to be honest. I know he's up against some good horses in Sporting John and the Big Breakaway, although I'm not convinced he's got the kind of enough experience. He's going to be a cracking horse in the future, but I just can't see a way round Envoy Allen. I think he's going to be a superstar.
DC, I think you're on a similar train of thought here, because, I mean, you look at prices like this and you want to find a way to take a horse on it at such a short price, but it's very hard to make the case against. We lost DC there for a second.
Yeah, he's very short now, but John, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're all good, mate.
Hello?
Yeah, I think we've lost DC.
Sorry, yeah, you're just breaking up for me small, but he's very short now.
We have you there again, DC. Keep talking, mate. No, we lost him. Steve, yeah, so I think DC had tipped up Envoy Allen and his insides call him anyway, mate, so he's coming back into us there. But DC, Envoy Allen, very quickly, mate, before we move on to the next one.
Yeah, the lads took me out down here. Let's say he's very short, but I think he's the winner. Not a price I'd be backing out, to be honest. Got my fingers burned with Benedijo yesterday, so that's the last odds. You'd have to give Sporting John a shot as well if you want to bet in this race. I'd say maybe Sporting John, class horse, all right price. He was a bigger price last week. I presume he'd be a lot of people's each way bet in the race, but Envoy Allen looks a machine, and I hope he wins.
All right, no point overthinking it, guys, I would suggest. Let's move on to the RSA Chase. Deasy, you want to give us some betting here, Matt?
Yeah, so you have Manila Indo is the favourite at 4.1. Then you have Champ 4.9. Allaho is 5.1. Copperhead is 6.8. Easy Game is 15.5. Then you have, Easy Game is 13.0. Battle Over Dying is 15.5. Slade House 20.0. And big prices the rest.
Jonesy, DC alluded to it there at the top. Allaho, a bit of a market mover overnight. Can you see why?
Yeah, I can because I think the step up in distance will certainly suit Allaho. Of course, he finished in the frame behind Manila Indo in the Albert Bartlett last year's festival, and he's been running over 2.5 over fences, but I don't think he's really quick enough at championship level to do that. But he won very impressively at Fairyhouse, and again, the step up in trip's going to suit him. But it's the same with Manila Indo. Only 2 starts over fences, and generally the RSA is won by a horse with more experience over fences.
DC, what are you looking at in this one, Matt?
I put up Slade House in the previous list the other day, and I put him in my article yesterday. Now, there's been a big drift on him, and Team Tiz don't seem to be in amazing form. So I'm gone a bit cold in him. So I'm actually going to stick with Champ. I think Champ is quite a backable price now. I think he's a class horse. I think whenever he makes a mistake, he's really, really kind of criticised for it. That was a bad fall in the Dipper, but I think it was kind of a stupid fall. Hopefully he'll have learned a bit from that. I think he has a serious engine, and he has just that bit more experience. I like Ned Indo could be a fantastic horse, but he's only had the 2 runs, and is probably one of the only horses this year that has been beaten by Lorena in a race, which I know that was his first run of the season, but I'm just going to stick with Champ, I think.
Jonesy, any bet in this one for you, man?
Yeah, Dees mentioned Slate Out and the form of the Tizzards. Well, I'm jumping on the other one, Copperhead, because I think he's just the sort of horse you want in this race. He jumps and he stays and he's improving. He's got that experience. Very impressive in the Reynoldstown, which years ago wasn't the best trial for this race, but there's a few winners come out of that and followed up in the RSA. So I'm with Copperhead, but I can see it's interesting on Matchbook there. Champ was always going to drift because everyone seems to have been against him in the run up to it. And he's certainly got the engine if he can get over the fences, and he may have just become a backable price. So although I've been against him again because I don't think going into it on the back of that fall on New Year's Day and then missing his prep race is ideal for Champ. He's certainly getting there to a backable price. Slate House, again, I'm amazed, like Steve said, he's drifted so much because I think Robbie Power was keen to ride him, although I'm a bit worried about the stamina for Slate House because the ground did look pretty brutal. It looked very sticky yesterday. And as I look out the window, there's a bit of rain around again, so it's not going to dry out before the RSA. But Copperhead, for me, I think he's everything you want in an RSA horse.
Copperhead currently 6.8 here at Matchbook, and DC Slade House has drifted again out to 21.0. Even better. Let her drift, get a bit of back in each way price. Right, let's move on to the Champion Chase, and obviously we have no Altior. Unless you're living under a rock at the moment, you'll know that we have no Altior. But DC, give us some of the betting at the moment.
So you have Deafy is sitting at the top of the market at 2.22. Shack and Poursuit is 2.54. And you have Dynamite Dollar 17.5. Little Log 19.5. So Royal 27.0. And good old Bundoran is 65.0.
You tipped up Bundoran, DC, in one of our pre-Cheltenham Festival previews.
Yeah, but that was when there might have been 3 places on offer. Yeah. Who might sneak into a place at massive odds. I wouldn't be bothered with him now.
Possibly won't, no. But look, we're essentially talking match bet here. D, Steffi or Shackham. Which one are you on?
Oh, I'd have to, this is so hard. I've been looking at this race for weeks and I've just never been able to make my mind up. So I said Deafy before, and I'm going to stick with Deafy now because I think Deafy has good form in the book, will handle the ground, has run at Cheltenham. 2 miles should be fine from. I think the heavy ground might be in his favour. But again, it's a skinny price. This is probably a no-bet race for me. I don't know actually putting the cash down on this, but I think Deafy has a chance. Yeah.
When you say a no-bet race, I believe it when I see it. Jonesy, what way are you falling down this one, mate?
I think there'll be a lot of people putting the 3 short ones in multiples today, and it's hard to see how Deafy's going to get beat for me. And it's a crying shame that Altior isn't going to be there, because I saw it as a match between Altior and Deafy de Sul. Because I'm not convinced by Shacklebus. I looked very good at Leopardstown for most of the race, but I wasn't all that impressed with the way he found off the bridle. And you're going to have to certainly do that in the championship. I think the course form is massively in favour of Deafy. And I'm really worried about that final climb for Shacklebus and the ground, making it a real test. And let's not forget, Deafy's got the stamina to win a Marsh Chase last year, being Lost in Translation, so it was a good race, and I just think he's got everything in his favour. Of the short ones, I think he's the best value because he's odds against, obviously. But it's interesting with Bundoran. I think you look down the list and the horses behind Deafy de Sul in Chac-en-Poussoir, Dynamite Dollars. He looked good last year, but the 2 mile novices weren't all that great. Politologue had his problems, and a French 9-year-old might just be coming to the end. In Sco Royal, who prefers it a lot faster, and Bundoran beat him at Kempton. So maybe put Bundoran in the forecast. I don't know.
All right. Just
That's
quickly
I
on...
love hearing that. Good man, Steve.
A small bit of vindication there for Deasy.
I got my Bundoran colours on as well today. There's a history of being Bundoran, Steve. Will explain to you off air, but I love it.
Steve, just on Deafy, when you're saying about value, so he's 2.22 currently. What does he get down to price-wise before you don't have a bet on him today?
I'm not a massive fan of backing short price horses, and I certainly wouldn't be an odds-on gambler, but I just think he's bomb-proof today. I think Envoy Allen is, but he's that price. He's odds-on. Yeah. But Deafy isn't, and there seems to be a bit of a head of steam building up for Chac-en-Poussoir, and it can only be, for me, the people who are contrary and are just looking to take the favourite on, because I just don't see... Although he's unexposed and he could come up with the performance, for me, he's not a convincing Cheltenham horse.
Yeah, and look, I suppose if Envoy Allen romps home at the start, bookies are going to be a small bit careful there, and Deafy's price could decrease. Right, Deasy, Tiger Roll time. Talk to me about the betting, mate. What price do you know? But you tipped them up last night at evens on your insights column, but that ain't there anymore.
No, that wasn't. I said that wasn't there by the time we even published it. He's 1.862. Easy's Land is 4.9. Then you have My Boy at 16.5. Urgent de Gougain is 21. Jan Mort is 27.0, and then his massive prices the rest.
Jonesy, we're talking about favourites here, mate. It's tough to see past Tiger Roll here as well.
Yeah, I mentioned that there'd be a lot of people putting the 3 short ones in, and I got a funny feeling that this might be the one to save the bookmakers, because we know all about Tiger Roll. Yeah. Super impressive last year, just couldn't have been more dynamic, and then followed up. It's one of the easiest Grand National winners we'd ever see, and that's the problem with him. I think he's had a few issues this year. He ran very well over hurdles last time, but all roads lead to Aintree. I know he's going for this phenomenal Cheltenham sequence, winning the Triumph Hurdle and every other race in between, and the cross country he was so good in last year. But I don't think he's come up against, in the cross country races, a horse is talented and is progressive, is Easy's Land. And when you consider that when he won over these fences, what was it, back in December, it prompted JP McManus to buy him. Now, perhaps that's not as interesting as it sounds at first, because we all know that JP McManus splashes the cash on decent prospects. But historically, a lot of his really talented horses have switched to the cross country and reinvented themselves. Horses like Garchon Pet, Spot the Difference, and more recently Cause of Causes. And he's seen something in this Easy's Land that obviously he likes, and I think this is going to put it up to Tiger Roll. I think Tiger Roll at odds on. It might be the old heart leading the head a little bit.
Okay, Dees, what are you making of that? Obviously, you tipped him up last night, but Jones has made the case for the opposite there. But it is very short price at 1.86 right now.
He is, yeah. Like, I mean, again, no, we mightn't be getting too much cash to be lashing on him at 1.8. Like, but I've been looking at Easy's Land since that November meet. I actually went back and watched that race the other day, and he beat out Sam by 13 lengths. Now, I think Tiger Roll would beat out Sam by 13 lengths if he only had 3 legs. He is a fantastic horse, and I think maybe he'll win it next year. But I think Tiger Roll might just Tiger Roll is a freak of a horse, and he obviously loves the cross country, and I think that he could probably get around here maybe 80 or 90. I don't think they're going to send him over unfit because he has to complete to get into the Grand National. So I think that if Tiger Roll is there or thereabouts when they're about 3 or 4 furlongs out, I can't see Easy's Land having the kick to go with him. Easy's Land didn't destroy that field as much as people make out in the November meeting, although he was impressive. I just think Tiger Roll might just have a bit too much for him, but you maybe back Easy's Land for next year's cross country chase, and we get a price on that after the race.
I'm impressed with that, Dees. Most people don't want to watch it once, and you've gone back and watched the cross country race twice.
It's a struggle. It's a struggle.
I watched it a few times because the other one I liked in the race was Never Russia Con. I wanted to see how he got on in that because he went down and won over the Banks course in Punchestown. I think it was in January. I think Never Russia. I don't think I even mentioned his price there. If I was going to have a bet in this race, it would be Never Russia Con to place. I think you could be getting. I'll just check if we got prices.
He's 30.0 in the win market at the moment. So you're probably talking about a 5 or 6 to 1 shot rate, realistically.
Yeah, I think that could be 4.9 to place in the top. Okay. I might have a small bet off that shot.
Okay, that's cross country. Some differing opinions. Good to see Jonesy railing back on Tiger Roll a bit. I like that, Jonesy. It's good to see that. Anything else elsewhere, Jonesy, for you that's sticking out today?
Yeah, I was waiting for Dees to say the name of the horse I fancy in the Coral Cup because he's also been fairly well backed. And the one that I like is one of Willie Mullins's. And although that doesn't narrow it down, because they could almost run a Willie Mullins Coral Cup. I think he's got 7 in it.
Yeah.
And the one that I like is the horse that won the Mares Novice Hurdle at last year's festival, Eglantine Dessau, who came from a mile back to win that race. This is her trip. I'm sure of that. I think she's coming to the boil quite nicely. She ran in a handicap for the first time last time out at Leopardstown, over 2 miles, which is going to be too sharp for her. But she's only beaten a couple of lengths coming through from the rear to finish 4th behind Those Days Are Gone. And I thought that was a perfect prep race. And before that was running behind the likes of Stormy Island, who we saw yesterday run quite well in the mare's race behind Honeysuckle and Benny Dadur. So it's a really tough race, but I think Eglantine Dessau, what price is she at the moment, Dees?
18.5, Steve. 18.5.
I'd say that's a fair bet. And we got Rachel Blackmore, who rode them all to sleep in the mare's race on Honeysuckle. That was some performance. I think she might be on another winner.
DC, anything else for you in the Coral Cup, man?
Champagne, well, I tipped him up yesterday, 26.0, and I've been on him since last week, since Fergal O'Brien said he was going for it. I think he has great course form. He could have easily have lined up on one of the novice hurdles. He's gone here instead. They're probably taking a guess at his handicap mark, and he's been well backed overnight. He's actually been back. 15.5, He's 15.5 now. And the other horse I liked was Alpha Mix, but there hasn't been a penny for him, so that's a bit disappointing. And one other one I fancy was Palladium in the Boodles. I just think he ran a very good time in Sandown the last day. It was on the same card as a Contenders Hurdle, and he ran the same time as Kel Destan, carrying 7 pounds less. So that to me would make him about a 140, 142 horse. I think he's in this off 138, so he might have a few pounds at hand, and he's been backed as well.
It's interesting with Champagne Well because Paddy Brennan took a really nasty fall yesterday, and they've signed up a replacement, and not a bad one, Brian Hughes.
Exactly, and Brian Hughes needs every winner he can get at the moment. So
Absolutely.
he's gonna be trying his best. Top job.
He love that. Anything else? Just before we get the best bet, guys, anything else elsewhere that's kind of just jumping out at you, Jonesy? Anything for you, Matt?
No, I went through the Boodles a while ago and came up with a non-runner. So I've already done my dough there. So I'm not going to go in on a recovery mission.
No matter. Well, Deasy, to be fair to you, you tipped up Palladium a couple of days ago with us, but the price is half now.
Yeah, I wrote it up on the wall, Steve, so that they would know that I'm not actually
Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to best bets. If I had to give you one bet each for the day, your absolute day 2 nap, what's it going to be? Jonesy, lead us off.
I've got to steer away from the short ones. We can't get into any of that old caper, so I'll go Copperhead in the RSA.
Copperhead for Steve Jones. Micheál, Deasy.
Well, I was going to go for Champ, but I can't go against Steve. We got to be nice to the new guests. So I'm going to go for Champagne Whale each way in a winning place bet in the Car Cup.
Okay, there you have it. Hopefully, guys, we'll guide you in the direction of some winners. I just get the sense that it could be potentially a good day for the favourites and the short prices. But what do we know? Cheltenham will often surprise us. All right, guys, that's it from us. We'll be back again tomorrow morning. Jonesy has the morning off. We will have Sam Turner in at 10:30 previewing day 3. Best of luck today. Go well.